seeing all the stuff that happens with all the corruption and all of the, illegalities, and that kind of stuff coming from your politicians and your celebrities and the people who they've chosen to be the untouchables. Whatever, there's many of them out there, and thousands. And this it goes along with, even on the law enforcement end of it, law enforcement angle of it, and the medical doctor angle of it, that kind of stuff. The higher ups always seem to be the ones that are usually most corrupt and usually the ones that get away with the most. And the lower downs usually get protected to a point, but what about your regular, normal people in society? Citizens, if you want to call them that. Nothing. They don't get any relief, really, if they make a mistake or an error. And I'm saying that, so if you have a politician or a celebrity, and they do something bad, and they do something that harms someone else or harms multiple people, or harms them just by theft of stuff or corruption, that kind of deal, what happens to them? Well, usually they get fined. They fined. Well, these are people that are making millions and millions a year. Politicians don't get that for a paycheck, but absolutely with all their conniving and skimming and scamming deals, they get that easy. So what happens? They get fined. Well, $10,000 here. They got fined $50,000 there. J.P. Morgan got fined millions. Well, that's nothing. That's dust. That's a scratch. It's nothing compared to what they have and what their value and what their worth is. So if you do something horrendous, where a normal person in society would be looking at 5 to 10 years prison time, the other people, the people who are the chosen ones, the politicians, the celebrities, the sports figures, whatever, well, they get a slap on the wrist and maybe they'll get fined $50,000 or $100,000, maybe $500,000, whatever. That's nothing for them. That's just a little speed bump. They don't do time. They don't do time in prison. And if they do, they spend time in there, just enough for a headline, and then they'll get released after 12 days when they should have been in there, 96 days or, 250 days, whatever the term was. They get released for, good behavior. That doesn't happen to anyone else unless you are one of the chosen, one of the elites, one of the, the upper echelon, if you will. So I'm saying this because if you think about it, fines are not for rich people. Fines are not for celebrities. Fines are not for, anyone, any of the politicians. They don't work. They do nothing. On the politician angle, most of that money that they get, comes from the citizens anyways. Whether it's their normal paycheck or just from thievery and theft, and because they rig the systems or they're involved in the stock market and they do insider trading, which happens all the time, that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying what needs to happen is they need to be treated like everyone else, just like the Constitution says. Everyone else should be treated equally. They should be blind. It should be a blind law, just blind justice for everything, no matter how much you have, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, no matter what sex you are, no matter anything. It doesn't matter whose great uncle you had, whose father you have, whose son of a father you are, and so I just want to emphasize that. I'll put a clip here. It's a real quick clip of a wealthy person talking about this.
They didn't ask for anything. We're going between countries. No COVID paperwork, nothing.
Actually, that's a good point. When wearing a mask.
Yeah. Seatbelts.
Yeah. The rules always have been and always will be. That's all rules are. If the punishment for a crime is a fine, then what they're really saying is there is no crime. If you're rich, right? It's a socio-economic crime. If you're poor, then you will be punished for X. But if you're rich, the punishment for X is negligible, right? So if the only punishment is not real. So if the only punishment is financial, to men like us, there is no punishment. That means that the rules are for poor people. What's the number one way they punish you? Fine, court costs, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you're a millionaire, all the punishment goes away. The rules are for poor people. And if you're sitting there going, oh, I don't really care about money, what you're saying is, I'm happy to stay a slave. If you want to stay a slave, great, because we need somebody to make our coffee. I don't want to be a slave to nobody. You can find me for whatever you want to find me. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. What about you, friend?
No, I'm with you, man. 100%.
Do the elites, the rich, the wealthy, not get punished? Because fines are not a punishment at all. They do not get punished. Period. That's that. I mean, if you want to bankrupt them, doesn't matter. They got their celebrity. They got their name. They got ways they're always going to get money. They got ways they're always going to make it. Because they've got that. So going bankrupt means nothing. You can't count how many times people have been bankrupt who are well known. Look at Mike Tyson. He's the first person to pop in my head. Well, he wasn't starving. He wasn't living on the street. When he went bankrupt, he really didn't change anything that he was doing before bankruptcy. Same thing across the board. As always, if you like this, hit the like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. And stay vigilant. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your wealth.